It was a double delight for Spain over the weekend. Carlos Alcaraz faced with a fantastic win against Novak Djokovic at SW19 Center Court at Wimbledon. A couple of hours later in Berlin, Luis de la Fuente led the Spanish national team to their 4th European title against the Three Lions of England. After Mikel Oyarzábal's late winner ensured that it was a dagger in the heart for Gareth Southgate in his consecutive finals with England. With that, I welcome you to another exciting edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. I'm sure you've had a fantastic week so far. We have so much to unpack on the show for you. Not forgetting the Copa America, where it was Argentina defending their Copa title against a really strong Colombia side. We have, like I said, so much to unpack. And of course, David is with me in the studio. Before I bring David on board, let's catch our breath, go on a break. When we come back, we'll start from the home scene. Welcome back. It is still Sports Pizza. Edwin in the building alongside David. Welcome to the show, David. How you doing?
Edwin, I'm good. Pleasure as always. You mentioned double delight. It was double. I remember at SW19 in the semi-final, Alcaraz said he's looking forward to a double delight for Spain, and then the English fans were booing him, not knowing that he was actually seeing the future. Hopefully they can see him now. But it's a good one for Spain as a whole and for Alcaraz and the Spanish national team. Yeah.
So we'll get to Wimbledon in a moment, but we'll have to start from the home scene. Yeah. So the European scene signifies the end of the football calendar. Yeah. You may disagree, you may not like it, but it is what it is. And of course, the Euros is done and dusted. Copa America done and dusted. We're going into the full transfer window mode. You also have preseason friendlies coming up as teams. Club sides look to build up fitness level for another long, grueling 10 months of European football. And whether you like it or not, we have Super Eagles players who are a big part of all of this preseason, transfer stories, blah, blah, blah. How about we focus on a bit of transfer? Let's look at a couple of Super Eagles players who maybe should make the move, stick with their clubs, extended contract. Who do we start with? David, let's start with Stanley Nwabali.
Yeah, Stanley.
So the conversation is that, the Super Eagles #1 goalkeeper should not be playing on the continent of Africa. While some people might find it disrespectful, David, where do you stand?
Well, I will take it from a standpoint of, okay, no, it can play on the continent of Africa, but a bigger. I mean, Chippa United finished 14th in the PSL last season. That's not the club where the #1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles should be playing. I mean, Mamelodi Sundowns, fine, they have Ronwen Williams, who was the goalkeeper of the tournament at the AFCON. But Orlando Pirates are still relying on 39-year-old Dennis Onyango, if you know him very well, from the distant past. They also have Richard Ofori, second choice for Ghana. So that's a slot that the #1 goalkeeper for Super Eagles can get into. Kaizer Chiefs, he just let go of Itumeleng Kune, the legendary South African goalkeeper. So there's a slot there for him. I think even if he's not going to go to Europe direct, or I think on the continent, even in South Africa, go to the bigger teams, 1 and 2. So I think, but Chippa United for the #1 of Nigeria, I don't think is the level.
So Maduka Okoye had a very strong showing with Udinese last season. They retained their status in the Serie A. Do you foresee a situation where the new technical advisor of the Super Eagles will use their club sides as the tiebreaker to decide who will be his #1? Do you foresee a situation like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have clamored for selecting players into the national team based on form. There's very little much you can, make of Stanley Nwabali if he keeps playing for Chippa United and they keep struggling, battling at the lower rungs of the PSL compared to a player who is playing at the top level in Serie A, no matter how difficult it is for you, but Serie A to the PSL, they are not in the same league. So I think eventually, if he continues at this pace, I think if Maduka continues the same performances, a coach will come in and feel that, I have to reward quality and form at the end of the day.
All right, moving further, Kelechi Iheanacho, 28, 29 years these days. So much promise, like you said. First, has he delivered on that promise, like you said, has he delivered on that talent that we saw at the Under-17 FIFA World Cup?
I mean, in a different world, the journey that Victor Osimhen tread, that's the part we expected Iheanacho to, going to the Under-17, finishing as, best player. He won the CAF Promising Player of the Year, which is a precursor to a player who is tipped to win the actual main CAF award. I think he did it, but he didn't get to the level. Osimhen did it and got the CAF award. So I think he has not delivered. After the Man City move, and then he left Man City with Leicester, his career has just gone downhill from the appearances are being limited, his goals are limited. The fact that at club level, they keep playing him as a striker, but we all know that Kelechi Iheanacho is not a striker, he's not a point man. So I think a lot of things have gone wrong in his club career.
Where do you envisage he kickstarts his career going into next season? There are talks about Turkey, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, there's Spain. If you were his agent, where will you be shipping him to? I
mean, talent-wise, I think he's still good enough to be a striker for a Premier League team, maybe an Everton, or I would say Aston Villa, because when I look at there's Watkins.
Aston Villa, Champions League.
He's a striker.
Is it Champions League material? Iheanacho in this moment.
Talent-wise, I know I keep saying that, but talent is what you actually produce with it. So, but he has done 15 goals in the Premier League before, so that's something that if he can recover, if he can recover those levels. But the problem is his inconsistency. He just feels like Iheanacho is someone who's just confident, being in his comfort zone, just taking things as a joke. Everything seems like easy to him. So I think Turkey maybe find a resurgence in Turkey where Nigerian players seem to be finding their feet.
All right, it's a series we just started. We'll continue right down till the end of the transfer market. Before we go on our first break, David, we have to talk tennis.
Absolutely.
Barbara Krejcikova, nobody gave her a chance, David. Coming into SW19, she's won just 3 games. A season blighted by injuries and illnesses. Hey, she gave it all against Jasmine Paolini. The Italian. I'm very happy for her, and it shows that, hey, like you've always said, the women's circuit is very unpredictable, and we saw it over the weekend. I
mean, absolutely. When you have a tournament where the big names are actually falling over themselves, we saw Gareth Southgate get knocked out in the quarterfinals.
Very salty.
We saw Coco Gauff also get knocked out early. We even saw Aryna Sabalenka also knocked out. These were the 3 players that have actually held it for 2024. But when those players keep up to the next set of people, if you can take it, if you actually want it, you go for it. I think Krejcikova saw a chance, he took it, and I'm really sad for Paolini, this back-to-back Grand Slam final losses. But I feel if she can keep talking at it, which is 28, but she can continue, at this level, she will probably get a chance. But for Krejcikova, absolutely wonderful one for her. But going into the next Olympics next, but US Open, the final Grand Slam of the year, going into it, I'm expecting another win, a shock win. It's the WTA, so it's what we've come to expect. Inconsistently consistent.
In the ATP, 24 hours later, I thought that, so to be honest, I felt Alcaraz was favourite going into that. I felt maybe it was going to be a tough one, but he'll do it in maybe 4 sets. And was 5 sets. I don't think Novak had that endurance or stamina, physicality to last 5 sets. But what I saw, particularly the first 2 sets, David, it was mind-blowing. It felt like Novak came into that game unprepared. I don't know, stage fright. I don't know if you saw my post. I told that, hey, is Novak suffering from stage fright? It was that bad. And Alcaraz blew him away. I
mean, it's really remarkable for what Alcaraz is doing. He's the real deal. I mean, he got into that final, and like you said, he made Novak Djokovic look ordinary. He took the game completely from him. He had him on the ropes right from the very beginning of the game. He made it very clear that the levels he was operating at, Novak Djokovic is going to find it difficult to operate at that level. Unfortunately for Djokovic, it feels like, we've been talking about changing of the guard, but the fact that the first 3 Grand Slams of the year, Novak has not won any of them. It's been a long time we've seen something like that happen. I think, are we looking at an actual changing of the guard? Probably, physically, he's 37 years old. There's very little you can, give. Your body can only give as much as it's able to give. So I think physically it's beginning to win. But technically, still maybe 1 or 2 more Grand Slams. I think he's still chasing that illustrious 25th Grand Slam title to break the record. But I think hopefully he will bounce back from this. This season has been very tough for him. He has had injuries, more injuries than I think he has had in a long time in his career. So I think hopefully he will bounce back. I expect him to.
Yeah, so for Alcaraz, defended his Wimbledon title. Yeah. 4th career Grand Slam singles title at the age of 21. Guess what? He's won more Grand Slam singles titles than Andy Murray did in his entire career. It is absolutely mind-blowing. He's 20 Grand Slams away from matching and Novak, so he still has a long way to go. And who knows, maybe Novak can bounce back in the US Open. Yeah. But on this form, it is difficult to bet against Carlos Alcaraz. Let's do the break. When we come back, we switch focus back to football. And this time, it is the European Championship, the Copa America. Maybe, just maybe, we might talk about the new Manchester United signing, Joshua Zirkzee. Welcome back to the second half of the show. Sports Pizza is the name. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms. The handles are showing on your screens. We also have lovely content for you on the YouTube page. David, Berlin was the venue. Absolutely. England facing destiny. 2021, Wembley versus Italy. Yeah. We know how it went. Went into penalty, and the English course of penalties prevailed that day. But this time around, Spain were the best team from start to finish and were deserving of this title. I
mean, coming into this tournament, they were not really fancy. A lot of people did not give them a chance. But from the get-go, they set the marker. In the group stages, they faced Albania, faced Croatia, faced Italy. People gave a lot of excuses that, these teams were not at the races. But you need to understand that it was the Spanish team, the way they played, that made those teams look ordinary. We saw the game against Croatia and Italy. We saw it was a much tougher game. So it means the level Spain were operating at was really incredible. They got to the knockout rounds, kept up that level, beat Germany, beat everybody along. That's the remarkable thing. They beat every team they came across in this competition. I don't think we've seen that kind of a run in a long time. So I think they were quality. England stumbled their way to the final. We were saying it for a long time that this English team have not clicked into gear. And if they face this Spanish team, there's going to be a lot of problems that they will face. This Spanish team are set up to exploit, the weaknesses that England have shown over this competition. And the final played out that way. The best team won.
You're looking at this Spanish team, David. I remember when they won Euro 2008, with Xavi being the MVP. There was Iniesta, Fernando Torres got that winner. Yeah. They went on to dominate. Yeah. Won the World Cup 2 years later, won another Euros 4 years later. Yeah. Do you see this Spanish team in the same mode? When you compare them to their rivals, the Frances of this world, the Germanys of this world, I'll put England there. You don't know if Italy might wake up in the next couple of years. Do you think the Spanish national team can go on to dominate?
I think so. I mean, while this team may not be as talented as some of the Spanish teams we've seen in the past, but one thing they have going for them is they have a set way they want to play. The players have bought into it completely. De La Fuente, fantastic manager. I think he came in unfancied, but he knows the understanding he has from most of these players working with him from the under 17, under 20, under 21 setup up to the national team. They are able to call. We saw players like Zubimendi come in. We saw players like Mikel Merino, players like Oyarzabal come in, players that were not fancy. They are not the most talented players, but they come in, fit into the system, and do the job. I think for this reason, we see Portugal, talent is there, but they've not found a way to play. England, talent is there, but they've not found. The same with France also. Deschamps feels like it's coming to the end of the cycle. The magic he has been pulling is not magic in again. But I think for Spain, they have everything going for them. The perfect blend of youth, experience, and then a defined style of play, and then everything is working for them. Mentality on point.
It's difficult to argue against that, David. You also look at their female team, world champions at club level, European champions. At club level for the men, it is Real Madrid. Yeah. So I think we are still in that era of Spanish domination. Spare thought for England, David. Well, heartbreak.
Sad for them. I mean, we talked about Southgate all competition and the fact that he's a reactive manager. I mean, you say it has been working for him, but when you come, how long can you keep doing the same thing? The fact they got into the knockout round, they didn't score first in any of the games. They had to come back in each of those games. They did it in the final, but I think their luck ran out. The quality in that team is testament to the fact that the likes of Kopama come on from the bench, make impact. The likes of Oli Watkins come on, Ivan Toney. They have players off the bench. It just seems like the manager has, and the insistence to keep playing Foden. despite the fact that he offered very little. I think it's one of the problems that affected.
City fans will come for you.
They can come for me, but England did not win the trophy because of Foden was one of the factors. Yeah, I mean, I'll go a long way to say he affected Kane, because I think Kane likes to play with runners off him, but Foden is not a runner. I think he likes to play more in the middle, and that's affected a lot of the balance in the team. And unfortunately, Southgate refused to change it, and it ended up burning his fingers.
So the English FA have said that there's an offer on the table for Gareth Southgate. Continue with this team. Is that a huge mistake? Should they be looking in a different direction, considering the quality in this side, like you said?
Well, I think because the English team have been starved of success for so many years, I think this is the first. We saw them at the 2014 World Cup, where Roy Hodgson was celebrating the 0-0 draw against Costa Rica. I mean, to now be where they are, back-to-back finals in the Euros, I think they feel that Southgate gives them that level of competition at the highest level, competition that they've not had in a long time. I think they are ready to trade off that competition, at least get it to finals. Hopefully, they will eventually keep knocking on the door and eventually get it open. So I think that's what they are trading off. But in terms of getting the best of the players they have, I don't think Southgate is the man to take them forward.
All right, let's talk about the awards. MVP. Rodri, do you agree? I thought Fabian Ruiz just slightly had a better tournament than Rodri.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, for Rodri's standards, this tournament was a little bit underwhelming for him. I mean, he did not have the influence he usually has for Man City. But okay, you say maybe it's because it's Man City. But I think Fabian Ruiz, in that midfield, he was outstanding. Attacking phase, defensively, he was everywhere for them. And I think he's more deserving for me than Rodri.
Young player of the year?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
He's also had the most assists in a single European competition. It takes us back to 1984, where a certain Michel Platini scored the most goals in a single European competition. And the future is really bright for Lamine Yamal.
Absolutely. I mean, it's remarkable what the journey that young man has been on. To think that about 18 months ago, he was still in the Barcelona Juvenile, their under 19 team, and then now he's in the first team. The journey, but the talent is there. It's obvious when you put a player in that position, you see some qualities. You know, the decision making is on another level. At 16, 17, you know that this boy is destined for the top.
We also saw a couple of other young stars. Kobe Mainoo also had a good tournament with England. Overall, how will you rate this Euros on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, it started well. It felt like it was going to actually boil over, but then it fizzled out a little bit. Then towards the end, it picked up again. So I think I'll give it a 7 over 10. All
right, a 7 over 10. What did you rate the AFCON?
AFCON was a 10 over 10.
Okay, so 10 over 10. So we still have AFCON. Before we leave, let's touch on the Copa America. Prior to 2021, Lionel Messi hadn't won an international trophy with Argentina. 4 years later, it is 4 over 4 if you add the Finalissima with Italy. 1 World Cup, 2 Copa Americas, 1 Finalissima. Yeah, it was in tears, but at the end of the day, tears of despair turned to tears of joy. Argentina, still the best team in South America.
I think best in South America, and I think one of the best teams in the world. I mean, when they beat France in that World Cup final, I mean, that quality is there to see. If they face any of these other teams, maybe you say, okay, a challenge against this Spanish team might be a real challenge, but that team is compact. Scaloni is doing a fantastic job. Some of those players, they have one of the best centre-back partnerships in the world. When you look at Sergio Romero and Lisandro Martinez, they are two individually different players, but their combination just works. And I think for that reason, the midfield is also Enzo Fernandez, holding the anchor, that Rodrigo de Paul. Then, even with the absence of Messi, it feels like there's people that can take over. Lautaro Martinez, top scorer at this competition. We've seen him at the national level, not really deliver, but it feels like he's actually coming into his own. And I think they have a squad prime for the future as well.
Is this the end of Messi's international journey?
I think if I were in Messi's shoes, I would call it quit at this point in time. But I think there's a Finalissima coming up. But if he really rates it, he just play down. But because it's Messi and his passion for the game, we saw him going off in the final and crying. How many players after the career is hard to be crying after coming out in the final? I think that passion, because of that, Messi, Ronaldo, I don't know, they only call time when they want to call time. So for that reason, I think when a man feels his time, I think he can call time on it.
And also Di Maria bowed out on a high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute
One
legend.
of the most underrated players
of his generation.
Yeah.
Absolute legend with Argentina.
Yeah.
Under 20 Olympics, World Cup, Copa America, Finalissima. He's done it all, seen it all. All right, that's much we can take. David, can we squeeze in Joshua Zirkzee, Manchester United? What should United fans be expecting of their new, latest shiny toy?
I mean, like you put the shiny toy, it's exciting, but if it's not the finished article. I mean, Sky Sports described him as a volcano on the verge of erupting. So, you know, and sometimes volcanoes sometimes they remain dormant for 100 years before they actually. So, United fans, he's not a goal scorer, let's just put it like that. Unless he develops into that, maybe he has that to escape. But goal scoring is not his
What are his strengths?
His strengths are holding up. He has one of the best first touches I've seen. His ability to pick up the ball in dangerous areas and, you know, back to goal, facing defenders, is able to take on defenders. I think paired with a finisher, another striker, I think he will create chances for them. He will help them to retain possession in the final third, like we didn't see much of last season for United. So I think for that, he will give them the ball. Goals is not going to be their regular supply of goals. All
right, I'm sure you had fun with us on today's production. We'll be back same time next week. Remember, like I said, follow us on all social media platforms at Sports Pizza. Lovely content for you on YouTube. It is adios, but we'll leave you with our video for the week. Edwin Onyepolise is the name, and of course, David.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Edwin. Always a pleasure. From David, it's goodbye.